Hi cooks, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and like the video. So I'm gonna start off by creating the stock. So I use 1 teaspoon of the chicken stock in boiling water, and then I just add that onto my pot. That's the base that I am going to boil the chicken livers in to start off with. So this just goes. If you are using the Knorr stock cubes, you can just have 1 cube, boiling water as well. So I'll wait for that to boil and be cooked. That seems about ready. I think it took about 5 minutes to be cooked. And I set aside that liquid. I don't throw it away while I saute my onions. So this is half a large onion that's been chopped. While the onions are being sauteed, I am going to use my tomato that I cut into chunks and put into the blending jug. I've used 1 whole medium-sized tomato here. I followed up the tomatoes with my chilies. So today I decided to use 2 habanero peppers. So the habanero are the slightly orange ones. They have a bit of sweetness in there, but they pack such punch when it comes to heat. And along with that, I used a poblano pepper, and that is the red one. So that's the red ripe poblano pepper that I used on there. So it definitely has a milder flavor, but it has a smokiness about it that really elevates this whole thing. So I used 1 medium-sized pepper, which is the yellow pepper that I used, but you can use red pepper here instead as well. You'll notice I added some water, and that is just to make the blending process easier. I blend this together using my stick blender. I find it easier to use that for this because obviously it's less chunky and it just gets the job done so quickly. Literally this quick, it is done. So I'm really happy about this. Just making sure that it's quite smooth and doesn't have any chunks in there of any of the ingredients that I added. And yeah, I'm happy with this. You'll see I use this base for a lot of things because I find it's such a nice way of imparting a lot of flavor and actually creating a sauce easily. So to my sauteing onions, I am going to add my newly blended mixture. And we're just going to let that cook down. So we're literally going to wait for this to cook all the way down until there is basically not a lot of the liquid remaining. You do recall I did use a bit of water when I was blending to make the process easier. So I don't even close this up because I want the water to evaporate. So I add about half a teaspoon of tomato puree to this. I use it a lot when I want to get a deeper flavor and color on my dishes. So that is the reason it's there. With tomato puree, I only use it for dishes that I know I need to cook down for quite some time. So don't add tomato puree for like quick dishes because you want it to cook down and remove that smell and taste of it. So with this, it's nice because I cook this down for over 15 minutes, probably closer to 30 minutes. So you can imagine it got all this time to cook down and you wouldn't be able to literally taste it in the dish, and that's my thing. After about 10 minutes, I add 3 cloves of finely chopped garlic to the mix. So things are already looking so much better. I love the flavor of garlic, especially in this recipe. So it's a total must for me. Like there's no missing it. You have to have it. So you can see the sauce is already looking good. It's already reduced quite significantly, but it still needs to go just a little further. And that's why I added the garlic now, because it gets the time to infuse and get cooked through while this reduces. Ten more minutes have passed and we have done it. We have reduced it enough. And one lovely thing about this process and why I don't rush it is the more you reduce, the more concentrated the flavor becomes as well. So now we start to flavor it. I'm adding some ground coriander and ground cumin, half a teaspoon of each. Now I'm gonna add my mixed herbs, also half a teaspoon. Then I'm getting some smoked paprika. It basically just enforces all the flavors that we got from our puree earlier. So just half a teaspoon will do. It also helps us get a nicer, richer red color. So I love it for that. Also, I use the smoked paprika because of the nice smoky flavor that it imparts onto the dishes. So if you have a choice between smoked and just normal paprika, always go smoked. I do anyway. Just mix it together. You can see from that paprika already, you can see that there's a richer color from it. Love the stuff. After the spices start becoming fragrant, I add a tablespoon of flour. So I'm just gonna mix that in quickly into this. I am obviously doing this so that the sauce that I'm about to create can thicken. So this is the equivalent of creating a bechamel, except I didn't wanna, have to do an additional step of doing it separately. So I'm doing it within. So I'm just gonna let that cook down for about 3 minutes because you need the flour to cook through. Because if you don't allow this to happen, then your sauce does have a taste of raw flour in the end, and you don't want that. So just take a few minutes to do this, obviously stirring throughout so that the flour doesn't get stuck to the bottom and burn. Now that my flour has cooked through, I'm gonna add my milk. I start off very small, probably a quarter of a cup. And I switch to a whisk. Whenever I'm creating a sauce, I always move to a whisk. The reason for this is I found whisk is the best way to ensure that your sauce doesn't have lumps, and it really doesn't take much from you to do this with a whisk because it's already created in such a way that disperses whatever is there. So it does a really good job at that. So the more it thickens and the more in control you are of the sauce, the more you add more milk. So I did the flour and milk because I didn't have cream. If you have cream, you can just go ahead and add cream without doing that step of adding the flour because it'll thicken as well and it'll be nice and luxurious as well. But if you don't have cream, don't fret because this tastes as beautiful. And I mean, that's what I'm using. And it really, look at how good it already looks. And guys, don't look at the color of this thing and think it's bland. The heat that's coming out of that is quite amazing. And if I'm making peri-peri livers, I want them to be peri-peri. So for me, it was literally just perfect. Once you are happy with your sauce, you can reintroduce the livers back in. So I'm just adding those back in, and I'm adding along with them a bit of the juices as well. The reason for that obviously is that the juices and the stock from earlier has so much of the chicken liver flavor, so I want to reintroduce that into my dish now. But I don't do like all of that whole sauce, because obviously it's gonna make my current sauce watery, so I'm not gonna add the whole thing, but I am adding some of it. And I'm then just gonna let this cook down slightly, because there is it is a bit wetter than I would like it currently. After 5 minutes, my sauce is reduced perfectly. I add some coriander. This is also the time that you want to taste your dish, and if you need more salt, add salt now. I do it at the end because remember we had some stock in here and you don't want to over season. And to accompany this, I just want to show you quickly what I did. I used a normal burger bun because I didn't have any other bread, and then I added some garlic powder to some butter, and I melted it in the microwave. While that happens, I am cutting the bun in such a way that it's going to create slices for me. To that, I'm going to brush the garlic powder and garlic mixture that's been melted to all of my bread, because I am going to toast these in the oven to accompany my chicken livers. So I'm showing you this because I just want to show you how easy it is to turn any kind of bread into crusty, beautiful, buttery bread that you can serve along with your dishes. And it is extremely quick and satisfying at the end. So using a burger bun and turning it into something a little different, and you know, that is more fitting for this recipe. This goes in the oven, and obviously just watch the color, and yeah, it's ready. I am now serving my chicken livers. You see, there's a really nice rich sauce, and I'm extremely happy with that. So we are serving it with our bread, and the final result was incredible. I'm really happy with this, and I think you will be too if you try it. And just like that, guys, we've come to the end of our video. I hope you get to try it. Please follow me on Instagram at Kholiwe_Cooks. I share other recipes on there and just a lot of other food and wine content that you might enjoy. So do follow me, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you've watched, and turn on the notifications so that you can know every time I upload. And to subscribe, you can click the middle button. And if you want to watch more of my videos, do click on the side. Until next time, goodbye.